causing a second disaster and a major fire. The pileups tonight at meteor. Welcome to World News. Tonight, the deep freeze and now the dangers that come with it. Frozen hydrants causing a second disaster and a major fire. The pileups tonight, and meteorologist Ginger Z with the new storm warning. The comeback of America's biggest enemy, and where are they? Iraq. ABC's Martha Raddatz right there tonight, too.
The Iraqi security forces warned us we should not go any further.
America sending weapons tonight, an ABC News exclusive. Soda risk? A call for action tonight about an ingredient in many sodas, and questions about a possible link to cancer. ABC's Dr. Besser on what the FDA is saying tonight. And a Made in America victory. Remember your outrage when we discovered the Olympic uniforms were made in China? Tonight here, the big reveal, what they look like now, and who's making them.
From ABC News World Headquarters, this is ABC World News with Diane Sawyer. Reporting tonight, David Muir.
Good evening on this Thursday night. Diane is on assignment, and we do begin with the dangerous wind chill warnings in place for the night ahead. For nearly 200 million Americans today, the temperature never got above freezing. And take a look at this tonight, a massive and deadly pileup in Indiana, trucks and cars tangled on the road, traffic backed up for miles, and the problem is, it's so cold, all the snow and ice isn't going anywhere for days. From the Midwest to the Gulf tonight, this Arctic blast is far-reaching, and a number for you. 35,000 flight cancellations this month alone, twice as many as normal, and counting. ABC's Gio Benitez leading us off with the dramatic ice rescues playing out across a frozen nation tonight.
From the Arctic Midwest to the frozen Northeast, people are battling the ice, and sometimes the ice wins. In West Haven, Connecticut, a dramatic ice rescue. A 70-year-old man falling through while checking if the ice was safe for kids to skate on. Near Boston, an out-of-control blaze and a nightmare for firefighters. Hydrants frozen solid. And right now here in West Bridgewater, Massachusetts, crews are demolishing this house. The cold weather really preventing firefighters from putting out that fire before it was too late. So your firefighters got to one, that one was frozen. The second one was frozen. The third one was frozen.
Correct.
It wasn't until the fourth one.
The fourth one that they finally got water.
3,000 feet away.
The one we finally used was 3,000 feet away.
Further north in Quebec, Canada, another fire at a nursing home. Emergency responders hampered by the cold. At least 3 dead and dozens missing. Here in the U.S., the National Climatic Data Center says more than 1,100 temperature records broken just this month. Today, 19 below in Fargo, North Dakota. In neighboring Minnesota, the extreme freeze is closing schools, with wind chills dipping 35 to 45 below. And that big crash in Indiana, leaving at least 3 dead, cars backed up for miles. Even trains fall victim to the cold. Hundreds of passengers on this commuter train from Manhattan to Connecticut were stuck for 2 hours without heat or lights. The extreme cold also showing nature's true beauty. These mesmerizing ice circles are on a river in Woodstock, New York. And it's not over just yet. In fact, parts of the Northeast will see actual air temperatures as low as 30 below zero tonight. David?
All right, Gio, thank you. Reporting in from Boston tonight. I want to bring in ABC meteorologist Ginger Z, who's with us, and you were telling me right before we came on the air that you can't escape this no matter how far south you go.
No, and that's just for tonight, but of course, as Gio said, this goes really in shots all the way through next week. But let's go to tonight again, David. I wanted to show you this map because we have freeze watches and wind chill advisories along the Gulf Coast. Tomorrow morning temperatures in Birmingham, Alabama, 13. That's more than 20 degrees below average. Corpus Christi, 38. So the freeze is on the east side, but you add precipitation and you've got issues. Already snowing in parts of Louisiana and Texas. Houston, under a winter storm warning, they haven't seen one of those in almost 3 years. And here it is, what to expect in the morning. Some freezing rain, ice accumulating to up to a quarter inch in that bank.
What a winter it's been. Not even over, Ginger. Thank you. From the deep freeze to the red-hot debate tonight across this country over the spying program, and this evening a major development here, a damaging new report, a government panel calling it both illegal and ineffective. I want to bring in ABC's chief White House correspondent, Jonathan Karl, tonight. John, illegal, ineffective, they're not even catching anyone here?
That's right. They say flatly it is illegal, and they directly contradict the president on how effective it has been. Just last year, the president said that this program was saving lives.
We know of at least 50 threats that have been averted because of this information.
But look at what this report says. It says we have not identified a single instance involving a threat to the United States in which this program has made a concrete difference. Not a single one, David. Now, the White House today disagreed with that assessment, but said that the president did listen to this panel, and in making his own changes to the NSA, has incorporated some of their recommendations.
Wow, but this is going to fuel that debate. John Carl at the White House. John, thank you. In the meantime, we turn overseas tonight into an ABC News exclusive. America's biggest enemy making its return tonight. And where? Iraq. Al-Qaeda taking over the very city where we saw the biggest American losses during the Iraq War. And tonight, American weapons on the way. ABC's chief foreign affairs correspondent, Martha Raddatz, in Iraq, where she was stopped herself, too dangerous to keep going.
When the sun goes down in Baghdad, this is what happens. The American military moves in. ABC News obtained these images. A massive American cargo jet delivering weapons to Iraqi military partners. 2,400 rockets to arm Iraqi attack helicopters in an all-out war against Al-Qaeda, a war Al-Qaeda is winning. The battleground's familiar, Fallujah, where so many Americans fought and died, face after face, giving their lives. Now, with U.S. forces gone, America's ambassador tells us Fallujah has fallen to an Al-Qaeda that is now rising across this country.
We're in a very precarious situation. They're capable of serious assaults.
Do you know approximately how many number of Al-Qaeda are there in Ramadi?
A lot of people are saying these days you've got around 2,000 in the country, hardcore.
An astonishing number. Fallujah is really not far from Baghdad. We wanted to see how close we could get. It would not be far. Iraqi forces are ringing the city with checkpoints and armored vehicles. About 5 miles out of Fallujah, the roads became far more desolate, and Iraqi security forces warned us we should not go any further. And the violence has spilled across the country. In Baghdad, bombings here have killed more than 700 people in just the past month, more than double the number last year. All 2 bombings here. The Jabuli family has lost 3 sons. All your sons gone. The oldest son leaving behind 3 little ones. The Jabulis tell us if they could leave tomorrow, they would. And the ambassador says Americans back home should be very concerned about what's happening here.
It's very much in our interest to have an Iraq that is stable and not to have sectarian conflict or an Al-Qaeda presence that can be used to destabilize the rest of the region and potentially at some point as a platform to attack targets beyond the region.
Which is why here in Baghdad, David, the U.S. will soon be sending not just small arms, but tank shells and Hellfire missiles.
Martha Raddatz reporting in from Iraq tonight. Martha, thank you. There is stunning news this evening about one of the most famous heists in America, straight out of the movie Goodfellas. Unsolved for decades, but this evening 5 reputed mobsters under arrest, tied to a $6 million heist at JFK Airport. ABC senior justice correspondent Pierre Thomas on the mob mystery cracked wide open tonight.
The Lufthansa heist 1978, JFK International Airport. More than $6 million in cash and jewelry stolen.
Police at Kennedy Airport are searching for at least 5 gunmen.
The story behind the movie Goodfellas.
And these are the guys that Jimmy put together for what turned out to be the biggest heist in American history.
Today, decades later, some of the real-life suspected Goodfellas were rousted out of their beds in early morning FBI raids. Among them in handcuffs, Vincent Osaro, an alleged key player of the heist and reputed top lieutenant in the Bonanno crime family. Osaro, who pled not guilty today, recently came into FBI focus after agents searched the home of fellow mobster Jimmy the Gent Burke this summer. Burke, portrayed in Goodfellas by Robert De Niro, died in 1996, but a tip led police to his home, and new evidence discovered there helped crack the case.
Never rat on your friends, and always keep your mouth shut.
Forget about that. It appears somebody's talking. Pierre Thomas, ABC News, Washington.
Pierre, thank you. A major headline about your health tonight with a question mark for anyone who drinks sodas with that caramel color, a chemical that in some cases has been linked to cancer in mice. A new report with a warning tonight, and ABC's chief medical editor, Dr. Richard Besser, is here.
When you sip that soda, you may be drinking it. Caramel coloring, a common ingredient. But could some actually cause cancer? Consumer Reports tested 110 sodas from California and New York. They found some had an ingredient in the coloring called 4-MEI. They believe some of the levels they found were too high. At very high levels, it can cause tumors in mice. California requires a cancer warning on products that contain certain levels of the chemical.
Consumers shouldn't have to be subject to this unnecessary risk just to color food brown.
But while the FDA today said they have been looking into this, they did make clear they believe sodas are safe to drink. The American Beverage Association disagreed with Consumer Reports' concerns, as did Pepsi, which pointed out that it even adheres to California's toughest in the nation regulations, saying all of our products are in full compliance with the law.
But based on what we know right now, you would need to drink more than 1,000 cans of soda every day to take in as much of the chemical as the mice that got cancer. So I'm not concerned. But if you are, look at the labels for the words caramel color, and then you have a choice.
But you're not entirely concerned yet.
I'm not.
All right, Rich, thank you. It seems we've seen so many of these cases, child stars, young singers with so much promise, so much wealth, suddenly suffering staggering falls. And on this Thursday night, the mugshot now going viral. Pop superstar Justin Bieber, 49 million followers on Twitter, under arrest, charged with DUI, resisting arrest, and driving with an expired license. Tonight, the very early pictures of a golden boy, even performing for the president. ABC's Matt Gutman asking what so many are, what happened?
Strutting out of jail, it was Justin Bieber clambering atop this SUV, saluting the crowd after his arrest overnight. Earlier in court, a very different Bieber, dressed in prison orange, biting his lip as he faced charges of DUI and resisting arrest. The pop star is accused of drag racing in the wee hours of the morning in a rented yellow Lamborghini.
The posted speed limit on the street is 30 miles an hour. Bieber and his friend were allegedly drag racing down here at up to 60 miles an hour.
Police say the 19-year-old admitted to drinking, smoking pot, and taking prescription meds. That grinning mugshot, so different from the doe-eyed 13-year-old
Someday at Christmas.
who crooned for the Obamas at Christmas in 2009. He became a pop phenom, selling nearly 13 million albums. His videos viewed 3.8 billion times on YouTube. But then Bieber morphed into the new bad boy of pop. Experts now wondering if he's heading down a well-worn path of other stars who became too famous too soon.
There's a lot of people around willing to empower you. There's not a lot of people looking to tell you no.
Child star Britney Spears flamed out, but has bounced back. But others, like Michael Jackson, whose post-court antics atop another SUV Bieber seemed to mirror today, have ended in tragedy. The question tonight, which road will Justin Bieber travel? Matt Gutman, ABC News, Miami.
Thank you, Matt. And now to a Made in America victory tonight. The Olympics just weeks away. And you'll remember the last time our Made in America team discovering the opening ceremony uniforms for our team made overseas. And so we asked, what about our other American team, the workers in factories across this country? Tonight, check this out. It's our first look tonight at Team USA's opening ceremony uniforms for the Winter Olympics in Sochi, now just weeks away. That traditional American patchwork design, the stars and stripes, those Olympic rings, and of course, the American flag. And for the first time, Ralph Lauren making those uniforms in America. We remember your reaction when World News first revealed that for the last Olympics, the American uniforms were hardly American-made.
The U.S. uniforms were made in China? How could it be?
You'll remember our producers dressed from head to toe, from the hat to those shoes, every piece of the all-American Ralph Lauren look made in China. From your living room to Washington, an uproar.
I think they should take all the uniforms, put them in a big pile, and burn them.
And then the promise from Ralph Lauren himself, pledging to make all future uniforms right here in the U.S. And tonight, the proof. More than 40 American partners designing, sourcing, and manufacturing these uniforms, more than $1 billion, and hundreds of jobs now staying here.
Hi, David. This is Jeannie Carver. We were honored to have been able to work with Ralph Lauren in this effort to make the team uniforms in America. And go Team USA.
The wool from Jeannie's ranch right here in Shaniko, Oregon, proudly flying her American flag. 35,000 acres full of sheep, shearing last spring in preparation. Ralph Lauren doubling their yarn sales. Then that wool traveling from Oregon to Kramer Yarns in Nazareth, Pennsylvania to be spun. 5,625,000 yards spun for the Olympics. And to Longview Yarns